Welcome to the Lady NightHawk show, where we talk about all kinds of interesting topics and have guests to come on and do different things. On this show, is my understanding at 8 o'clock it'll be live on BCMC TV. I'm not quite sure how that works because usually for it to be on YouTube on our station, it has to be edited by our director. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to happen, but I'm going to ask the gentlemen for that one particular place that's on the website that they would give their names and their information at the front so that it's there. And if wherever Tom needs to tag their names, if he would do it so they know who they are. Okay, because I'm not abreast of how that really works. So I just want you to be knowledgeable. So my guests, I've missed them because we haven't been here since all that snow and no snow and said it was going to be snow, and it's just been a merry-go-round. So I thank you guys for being here with me tonight. And it's on a Wednesday, and we're usually on a Thursday. So I thank you guys for being here. So we're going to start with you, Donald. If you would introduce yourself and give all your information for those people that will see you tonight.
Oh, well, thank you for having me back on the show. My name is Donald Bell. I'm an attorney here in Maryland. My office is here in Prince George's County. I'm located in Greenbelt, Maryland, on 6305 Ivy Lane, and I am very happy to be back here again. Areas that I practice in are primarily consumer bankruptcy, so I try to assist people in saving their homes from foreclosure, and I help people who have insurmountable debt, get out of debt. But that's what I do, and I appreciate you having me back here on the show.
Okay. And if you could, and Tom, I couldn't see whether or not you still would, if you could put their name, if you flash it up, so you know who's who, I'd appreciate it. Okay, and my next guest is
Paula. Thank you for having me again. My name is Ross Levin. I am the Executive Director of Roots of Mankind. I am a certified housing counselor, and we provide assistance to homeowners as far as doing first-time homebuyer education. We also provide assistance to homeowners who are in need of loss mitigation. We also provide veterans assistance as well.
okay.
And we also do programs on creating generational wealth.
All right. So I'm glad that you're here because it's so important that people know what's going on. I'd just like to bring attention to a T-shirt that was made for me by people that make T-shirts by one of my son's friends, and it's basically a T-shirt about democracies, where how democracy comes from the Capitol, right? This is one of our national monuments, which is the monument, okay? And then these are cherry blossoms that are sitting on the side. They had to tell me that that's a national gift that was given to us by, was it?
The Japanese.
The Japanese. So
this was well before World War II. So.
So they've been around that long.
Yeah.
And they've lasted because they didn't think they were going to even last.
Yeah.
And so that's a gift from God. That's what I say when it comes, to a plant like that that's not from where they're from. And we have crazy weather here. So they can't estimate, they said on the news last night, when they're going to blossom, but they will blossom.
So but it is beautiful when you go to Washington, D.C. and go to the mall, or go over there by Haynes Point, and you see all those beautiful cherry blossoms. I mean, it is a beautiful sight in the springtime.
It really is. And you can't pick them, guys, because you will get locked up. You cannot go over there and break off a branch of the cherry blossoms, okay? That's a national monument, so please don't go over there and think that you can go home and take some and then go home and plant it in your yard, because if what you call those people?
The park police?
Park police. If they see you, you will get fined and you will get locked up, okay? Remember, it's a monument. It's not something for us to be taking home with us. So I just want to forewarn you, okay? Take pictures, okay? Because like Donald said, Attorney Bell said, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful sight to be down there. And I think that we're going to have some wonderful weather When they do blossom, it's usually nice outside for you to go out there with your family and to take your young children out there so they can see how beautiful it is, so they can remember when they get grown, oh, my dad or my mom, they took me down there, or my dad and my mom, they took me down here to see these. I remember these, and then you have pictures of it. So it's crowded too.
One of my best memories is, when my son, he's 21 now, but when he was about 3 or 4 years old, we ride the train downtown, and we have a Frisbee. We get like some ice cream or like a snow cone, or we'd be out on the National Mall. You see the cherry blossoms. He's running around playing with kids that he just met out there. I mean,
had a good time.
It's a good time.
And you have to be careful about and check on the website to see what you can carry.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're going to get checked. Okay. The best thing is, like Donald said, to catch the train. Okay. Now some of the train routes have changed in DC because they're doing work on them. So I would suggest that you look at the route for the train if you catch the train, and then actually go on the Cherry Blossom site and see what it is that you can or you cannot bring with you. Okay, because they will make you throw stuff away. And if you didn't bring your car, you can't walk back to it, right? So make sure what you can and what you cannot bring with you, because you do want to enjoy the experience and make it an enjoyable experience for your children, and not having them turned away because you got something you don't have no business carrying, okay? When they put it out there clearly on the website to let you know what you can bring, and also with the trains being changed all around, make sure that you have your directions to get on which train where and where you get off, okay?
I'm surprised that more local people don't really take advantage of that, because number one, it's free, and number two, is beautiful, and people from all over the world, come to the nation's capital, and they want to experience. They want to go to the monuments, like on your shirt.
On my shirt,
you want to see the cherry blossoms.
Cherry blossoms.
And then you can take your family down to the mall and have like a picnic, and take some food, and and just really just have like a really good time if you like being outside. And and a lot of the museums are free also. Like you go to like a lot of the Smithsonians and whatnot. I mean, that was something when my son was young, and my daughter, she's 3 now. As she gets a little bit older, that I think that was one of the highlights of what we would do in the spring and the summertime. And he learned just like so much and whatnot, and I learned a lot. And that was a good way to take care of a Saturday afternoon, or a day that he didn't have to go to school. We just
enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, we get in the car, or we catch the train, and we go down to DC and just have a good time. And by the time we get back to the car, he's
knocked out. I know that's right. Because one of my first experiences was when I was younger. And some of my relatives came in from out of town, from Detroit.
Great idea.
And what they did was they took me to be their
the guide.
The guide, right.
Okay.
But I couldn't guide them through too much because it was my first time, to some places as well, except for when I was in school. In school, they took you to these different monuments and stuff. So I was able to take them to places where I had visited before. That was through the school system. I don't even know if the school system still does that anymore, and they should, okay? Because who is the best tour guide for your family is you.
Yeah.
And if your school is still doing it, or they're not doing those kinds of things, that's something y'all need to start doing again, because the historical monuments that you have right now that are there, they have new exhibits because they have new presidents since the last time I've been down there, okay? Because they have one to show you all the presidents and all the presidents' wives, and so I know since the last time I was there, I know we've had quite a few presidents, okay? But that was the best experience that I had. So when my children got older, I made sure that I took them down there as well, so that they could have the same, even though I know their school was going to do it, but it's nothing like going down there with your own family, right? Because you can have a picnic, and like you said, you can play, they play volleyball and dodgeball, and you can do all kinds of things down there, lay out on the grass and watch them. Don't have to worry about nobody taking them because you laying there watching them. And you take take a meal. But like I said, make sure you look up the trains, and make sure you look up on their websites what you are able and not able to take down to those grounds. And please take them inside the museums that are down there. They are such a valuable
Beautiful.
education to go to those museums. And you need to make sure which ones are open and which ones are closed. Because
Yeah.
sometimes the museums are open, but everything that's in there for you to see is not open. So make sure that you plot your day out, find out which ones are open or not open, so you know which buildings and how long you're going to be inside of them. And you're going to have a fantastic day if you do that. So I appreciate the person. Please forgive me for not remembering your name, but the artist that made this shirt, because it is a monument, because this is where the Constitution of the United States, and then they had that in one of the Smithsonian, so you could go see the real Constitution of the United States, okay? But
Right.
this is where our laws and bylaws, I say bylaws, this is where our laws of the Constitution are made in the Capitol. That's why we vote for Democrats and Republicans. This is their office. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's
So-
where the Congress meets, and that's where the laws are supposed to be made.
And I always say that there's a TV program that they have young people. They have to be in junior high school on Montgomery Public Access, and they do a fantastic job. Please let your children look at it. They talk about Capitol Hill, who's who, what's what. They tell you about what the amendments are, and what they mean and how they mean. And they have a mixture of denominations that are actually singing and talking and giving you this information. And so I always talk about Schoolhouse Rock, but I'm gonna tell you, to see some young ethnic group, a group of ethnic kids, to sit down and tell you about immigration, the amendments, the 13th and the 14th Amendment, to tell you what's the Senate and the Capitol, who's in the Capitol, the Senate, and the Republicans, and, the representatives that we have that are there and what they're supposed to do. So I really recommend that you look at Montgomery, because it comes in Bowie. It's the Montgomery Public Access Channel, okay? And you sit down with your children, and it comes on in a time of day where it's a couple of times a day that you can catch one of them. But sit down and look at with your kids. My mother hates for me to say kids. Look at them with your children. And I'm going to tell you, you will learn a lot in a little bit of time just by watching one of their programs. And I wish that we could do something like that here, because it is amazing to see them on that public access channel that they have. So Ross, we haven't heard from you this evening. How are you doing, and how's your business going?
Things are great, Paula. Things are great. Doing good.
So
The weather's obviously is, as you know, the weather was beautiful today.
yes.
So things are good. Things are good.
So the question is, are you able to give any information? Because they do have informational numbers that are out there for the people that are being laid off work. And
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There are a lot of people that are losing their jobs. Unfortunately, especially in this area. Of course, we are here to help for those people that need assistance. Our nonprofit here to help for people that are having a hardship for either mortgage payments or other services, financial budget counseling and things like that. So we're certainly able to help those people. Hopefully this is going to be a short-term thing. Let's hope and pray. But yeah, it's going to be some tough times, unfortunately, for quite a few people in this county.
And I need to apologize because Attorney Bill kind of straightened me out a little bit about Governor Hogan. Whatever I heard, I didn't hear. So I apologize for that, because he did, it was a close election between him and his counterpart. And he didn't say that, but one of the news commentators released that information. So it might have been incorrect, so I do want to apologize. I do not want to give you false information, but I would suggest that you look it up for yourself. But I'm apologizing. It was on the Jeremiah Interdenominational Missionary Church show that I made that error. But I still I'm glad that the candidate who won, which was Allison Alsabrook,
Yeah, from right here in Prince George's County.
and that won that seat, and she's the first senator, black senator from Prince George's County. And so I take my hat off to her, and I helped campaign with her, not in this election, but when she was running before.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I apologize.
So her seat is, so her previous seat, which was county administrator, that she held is,
Executive, right?
yeah,
The executive, county executive.
yeah, county executive. You know, that seat is up right now, and there's a special election that's coming up on
March 4th?
March 4th. So, I mean, we always talk about, Paula's always talking about you need to get out and vote. I know like a lot of the candidates have been running their campaigns, and so March 4th is the date that you guys need to get out and go out and vote.
And it's so important because this is a seat that's important for PG County, that we make sure that we put the right person into that seat. And it is important for you to get out and vote. I wish that you would pray for my sister that day. She has an 8-hour surgery on that day. She has a brain tumor, so I ask that you would pray that that comes out well and they don't see anything, you know, because God is still in the miracle business, okay? Should have said this on the last show, but I'm saying it on this one, on that day. But I am going to make sure that I get to the polls to get out and vote. If you turned in your early ballots by mail, I take my hats off to you. But now this is a special election. It's very important that we get out there and vote. And I will make sure I wear my little tag the next time you show me that I voted, okay? So please get out there and vote because it's so important. And there's 2 seats that's up for the taking. One is for Allison Alsabrook. What's the girl's name? And Brave Boyd.
So Aisha Braveboy, who is the current state's attorney, is running for the county executive. I think Rashawn Baker, who was previous county executive, is running. And I think there's another guy by the name of Calvin Hawkins, who sits on the Prince George's County's county council is running. And I think there may be 2 other candidates that I cannot recall their names. So I think there may be either 4 or 5 candidates who are running.
Yeah, it's quite a few for that one seat. And
so I know they've been campaigning, like I think they've been on the church circuit here in Prince George's County, like at the various churches. You know, there have been some debates, you know, and so I mean, it's, you know, the county executive is sort of a big deal here in Prince George's County. So
it is, it really is, and it's a very important election. And whomever takes that seat got some pretty big shoes to fill, okay? Because that is the seat that Allison Alsabrook did have. So I'm asking you, and now she's a senator, take my hat off to her and her family that she made that accomplishment. And so, you know, let's keep up the good work and go out there and vote. It's so important for us to vote. That is one of the things that we have in our democracy that we're still able to do. So I'm asking you to please get out and vote. And your numbers will show that we do believe in a democracy in the United States of America, that we have an opportunity to get out there and vote for people. We voted and put the president in the office, okay? We have to respect that. So I'm asking you now to vote for your county officials that are important to us that live here in PG County, Prince George's County. So please get out and vote.
And I will say voting is how you hold those elected officials accountable. If they say they're going to do something and they do it, then, you know, they may deserve to be, you know, to be voted, that they may deserve to be voted for again. But if that person says that they're going to do something, they don't do it, then the way that you hold them accountable is you vote them out of office. So, I mean, voting is your way of holding people accountable for doing what they say they're going to do, but also just, you know, making this government and this county work. and the state, whether it's the county or the city or the state or even the federal, even the federal government, voting is how you hold people accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And we see a lot of people that are from these different places and organizations that have been fired down on the monuments and the Capitol grounds that are out there, and in front of the buildings where they were working, that are out there demonstrating because they've lost their jobs. My heart and soul goes out to them, to all those families, to everyone that has lost a job unexpectedly. And I'm gonna tell you one thing about President Trump. Anything he's ever said he was going to do, he does. Okay. Now we got caught off by surprise about some things that he didn't say that he was going to do that have been done. Okay, that out of clear blue sky, that we all are, surprised. Okay, but I'm gonna say prayer changes things, okay? And prayer changes people's hearts. And I'm gonna say that our president, I would pray that if he sees that he's taking the country in the wrong direction, that I would pray that he would stand up and put us back on track, okay? Because that's why people voted for him. They believed in what he said that he was going to do, and they trusted what he said that he was going to do, because we've seen that happen. But I think we've been surprised by some other things that have happened that we've never even heard of, okay? But we need to pray. The only way that this whole world is going to get back on track is if we pray for the whole world, okay? We need to pray for the world. We need to pray for our families. We need to pray for our homes. We need to pray for our jobs and our finances. We also need to make sure that we pray for those people that have lost their jobs, during this time. And they say there's so many people in the DC area that have lost homes, okay, during this time, because now they have no job and no income. So I'm hoping that your office, even your office, can help them in any kind of way that y'all can.
Absolutely, Paula.
Well, there's also, hopefully that people who are losing jobs or who have lost jobs, there is something called due process. And basically where if you believe that you were wrongly terminated, that you have a right to bring that before some type of, through some type of judicial process, whether it be like administrative or, through the court systems. So, I'm hoping that, if you're out there listening and you have lost your job, that, most federal government workers have unions. Go back and look at your information that you have as it relates to, there has to be some sort of reasoning behind, the firing and things of that nature. And when I start talking about using words like due process, that means you have a right to be heard. You have a right to question those type of decisions, and you have a right to go before a judicial tribunal or an administrative tribunal, so they can determine if what was done was correct or not correct. And I just think that you have to really pay attention to things such as that. So
I thank you for that. I do. Would you can maybe say something now, Ross?
No. I agree with what
They
Mr.
do
Keller said.
have a website that's out there that's for the people that have lost their jobs in the federal government. You can go out there and look at that website. There are organizations that are out there that are willing to help you as well, for the people that have lost their jobs in the federal government. They give out information. There's I can't think of his name, but it's a young gentleman that's I think he's in the Senate.
Well, the congressman here in Prince George's County,
Congressman.
I believe his name is Glenn Ivey, he has information on his website. And I believe there have been town hall meetings that they've held virtually and things of that nature, to address some of these issues and, things as it relates to due process and what your rights are and, what you're entitled to. Part of, you are a citizen, and if you live here in Prince George's County, you have congressmen you know, you need to reach out to them. You have senators that we deal with, you know,
Yep.
you need to reach out to them because, you know, they may have resources. You may have resources that you may not be aware of. And many of you guys are paying union dues. You know, you need to reach out to those representatives to find out. Like, even if you haven't lost your job, you think you're gonna lose your job, just don't sit in the dark. You know, reach out to these resources to sort of see, hey, what are my rights? You know, what do I need to get prepared for? And, you know, if this happens to me, what do I do? So, I mean, there's a lot of things that are out in the news. Some things are accurate, some things are not accurate. So, I mean, if I were you, that's what I would do. I would start taking advantage of reaching out to some of those resources. I mean, you put those people in office, you elected those people and put them in office, and they're putting these programs out there. You know, I listen to the radio and I hear Congressman Glenn Ivey talking about these type of things, and I even hear Angela Alsobrooks, you know, giving the same type of information. So, you know, reach out to their offices. They have staff members who are there to serve their constituents. So.
Mm-hmm.
And they also, for the people that did not have a union, I was surprised when I saw that on the news last night, that you can reach out to the unemployment office and to see what rights you have so far as unemployment is concerned, you know, so you can file. You know, you have a little bit of time to do that, so you don't want to sit back and wait and say, oh, I don't think so. Well, all you can do is just pick up the telephone and ask them, okay?
Right.
Am I covered under this? This is what happened. Am I covered? So that you can apply for unemployment right away before it gets pushed back too far, and then it's too late for you to even apply for that. So they announced that on the news last night too. Well, it was not last night, it was a couple of days ago that they told you that you could reach out to the unemployment office. But our hearts, we're here because our hearts go out to you. You're in our prayers because our family members are affected by this too. So don't think that you're alone, you know. We got people in our families that are being affected by this, and we just want to say that our prayers and our wishes and our hopes that all this gets resolved and everybody is able to hold on to their homes, you know, and they get their jobs back. Yep. And that's all we can do is put it in God's hand. Well, and reach out to those people, like you said, the Senate and the councilman and all those other people that have a part in this. They need to reach out to those people as well.
Yep.
And with that, I want to say good night, and I want to say thank you so much for that information, you guys, that you've given to them. And we want to say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education?
What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job?
Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher.
You got the skills.
The smarts? Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess?
What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?